tonight. All right, our very special guest is here and ready to go. He is he's over 130 marathons. We'll get the exact number when we bring him in. Ken Davison's going to be our Past the Pantry Athlete of the Week.
Ken Davison on the other side of the break. I'm Ben. And congrats, you've been sports updated.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. This is going to be outstanding. It's our Athlete of the Week presented by Pasta Pantry. For over 30 years in Sherwood Park, Pasta Pantry has served hot, delicious comfort food made right in our kitchen. We do it fast so you can slow down. We're a family, and when you come to Pasta Pantry, you're one of us. Go check out Pasta Pantry in Sherwood Park, your home of the pregame or perhaps pre-race meal. I'm Reed Wilkins. That's Jason Milne. Then our Athlete of the Week is Ken Davison. Ken, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Thanks for coming by. So, the Edmonton Marathon is this Sunday.
Yep. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And how many marathons is this for you, sir?
136.
This will be 136.
This will be 137.
This will be 137.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your most recent marathon?
Calgary.
And when was that?
In July. I'm not sure the date.
So are you running how many marathons a year?
About 5.
About 5 per year.
Yeah.
And in what year were you born, sir?
1945.
Okay. So that makes you 80 years of age.
That's it.
You're on the verge of running your 137th marathon, and even at the age of 80, you're doing about 5 a year.
Yeah.
Like, okay, does that not sound amazing to you? Like, people must react the way Jay and I are reacting all the time. Does it not? Or you just brush it off at this point, or what?
No, they do react like that. I met a runner there on Sunday. I was leaving the field house and used to run Jasper Banff with him. And he was asking me what age I am. And I was told him I was 80, and he was just over the moon. You know, he couldn't believe it. I was still running. Yeah.
Okay, so clearly you have an accent. So, Ken, where were you born?
In Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at what point did you come and move to Canada?
5th of May in 67. We got married on the 20th of April, and then we left right after that for Canada.
And what, because I was talking to you yesterday, and then, by the way, they know yesterday we talked about it after you came here to scout out the studio. We really appreciated that. We're like, okay, this guy means business. And I mean, when you're running 5 marathons a year, yeah, I guess you like to know your path.
Yeah.
As I said to you yesterday, my father was born in Newry and came over here in the 70s. And what was the reason that you and your beautiful wife Eileen is with you today? What was the reason you guys came to Canada?
Well, there was so much advertising in 67 on gable walls and side of the double-decker buses. There always had signs like Canada, land of opportunity. If you've got a trade, we're looking for you. So it was raining one night and we were downtown Belfast and we passed Canada House and they had a sign there saying free film shows about Alberta. So we more or less just went in out of the rain. They were showing Lake Louise. So after that, the immigration officer was talking to us, and he said, "Are you thinking of going to Canada?" I says, "Well, I had it in the back of my mind. I would like to try it maybe for 2 years or so." And he says, "Whereabouts are you thinking of going?" I said, "I'd like to go to Toronto. I don't know any other place." He said, "No, you don't want to go to Toronto. That's like living in Belfast with all the industry. You want to go way out to Alberta and try it out there." He says, "We can set you up. We pay your airfare, give you a letter, you give it into immigration in Edmonton, and they find you a job for a year, and then we take, I think it was $30 of your wages to pay the fare off after that."
Wow.
Yeah, it worked out good.
So did you come to Edmonton thinking you were going to be landing in Edmonton and you're seeing the views of Lake Louise?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not going to rain like in Belfast, eh?
Well, that's
Got
true.
better weather here.
What scared me was the size of the cars, because I was used to a mechanic and working on the little British cars, and then we're at the airport because the immigration officer said there were little green fern in your lapel and then I can recognize you. And he was a little bit late, so I was looking out the window and, oh, wow, the size of them American cars in 67. I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I can work on them. You might be going back home in a month here, you know.
Okay, well, that's amazing. So that's how you became a Canadian and an Edmontonian, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, how did you become a runner?
Well, I always did like running. I played soccer in Belfast, and then we come over here. I knew Chris Braden. He used to be a big shot in the Edmonton City Police. He got me on the police team, but I only played for them for a year because, man, it was rough. I think all the other teams thought you were a policeman, and they kept going for your ankles all the time. They weren't worrying about trying to get the ball. So I left that team, and then I went to the Inter-Nomads at the University of Alberta and played with them for a while. And they were down in Rundle Park, and the game was over, and there was a road race going on. So I just wandered over there, and I was standing watching it, and the lady came over and said, do you like running? I says, well, I play a lot of soccer. She says, well, we have a running club here, and we meet every Wednesday night and Sunday morning at the Kingsman Fieldhouse. She says, why don't you come down and try running with us? And that's how it all started. You know, and down joined them, and then never looked back. It was the Edmonton Roadrunners at that time. Yeah.
Okay, so what about your very first marathon? When did you decide to tackle that? What's the story there?
Well, we're down in Kamloops, 1980, I think it was, and that was my first marathon down in Kamloops. And I swore that would be my last one because I ran in tennis shoes. I didn't know there was runners back then, you know, shoes. So I had a nice pair of tennis shoes with a green stripe and all. Oh, they looked nice. But I'll tell you, at 20K, they had blisters on just about every toe on my foot. And I swore once I finished this, that was the last of that nonsense, you know. I wasn't going back to it. But as usual, it always wears off like in a couple of months, and you're just itching to get back at it again, you know. And that's how it all started, really, in Kamloops. Yeah.
So you hadn't really trained that much for your first one? You just went and did it?
I just did the soccer, did the training with the soccer, and then we went out and ran the Kamloops marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your feet must have been in
They were
horrible
sore.
shape.
They
Yeah,
were
okay.
sore. You know.
So, but then you thought, you got the bug out of that? You thought, okay, wait a minute, I can actually focus on this and it's something I can do?
Yeah. And then found out there's a group meeting in Harley Park every Sunday at 8:30. And so I went down there and joined them, and it was John Stanton and his two boys. They were only, you know, up to my waist then. And we used to run out of Harley Park every Sunday before the running room was ever thought of. And we go up Grove Road and round Saskatchewan Drive and then back down again. And that's how I more or less got into running, and the first time I ever met the Stanton family. Yeah.
That's amazing. Ken Davidson's our Past the Pantry Athlete of the Week. He's going to run his 137th marathon on Sunday. He is 80 years of age. Now, along the way, have there been 10Ks, half marathons, a bunch of, or do you only, like, if it's not 26 miles, it's not for Ken?
No, we used to do the 10Ks. There used to be one they called the Watermelon Run. I think Edmonton Journal put it on in Harley Park. We used to do that every year. And Kingsway Mall used to have a race, and Sun Paper had the Sunshine Run and everything, but they seem to have all faded away now. There's not as many as there were, and they were really cheap that time. You know, it was only like $10, and you got a T-shirt and everything for that, you know. But yeah, it's a little different now. More or less, prices getting up, and there's not as many around.
Right.
Yeah.
So throughout your running, throughout all these marathons that you've ran, 137 coming up on Sunday, that's just incredible. But what's the biggest takeaway from that? What's it you know, because, you know, Reed and I have been talking, and there's a sense of, you know, a euphoric feel when you finish that. Is it still the same after, you know, your 137th marathon as it was finishing your first or fifth marathon?
Yeah, it is kind of thing, like, especially coming down Jasper at the end. It's like being in the Olympics. You're out in the middle of that road, and the crowds at each side. It's just like something you'd see in the stadium, you know, when you're watching the Olympics. It's a fantastic feeling, and especially when you can see the finish line. I got cataract surgery, so I'll be able to see the finish line this time. I was kind of all blurry last time, but it'll work out good. Yeah, it's a great feeling. And then it's really good whenever you finish it, and you're still upright walking. It's a good feeling.
Okay, so you mentioned being upright and walking. I mean, you've been running a long time. You've been running marathons a long time. And I was talking earlier in the show, like I've had some injuries that have really affected how I can run.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing, or maybe you've been totally healthy, but if not, what's the worst thing you've had to battle through along the way or that set you back?
Last year in Honolulu, I had a hernia. I kept putting it off, and it popped out in Honolulu at I think it was the 23rd mile. So I had the doctor said if it ever pops out, you have to lie on your back and then force it back in again.
Jeepers.
So I did that, and then I ran the rest of the marathon with my hand down my shorts holding it in. But I didn't fly all that way to walk or quit the marathon, saying I was that close to the finish. I was going to finish it, so I did. Yeah.
Toughest guy in the city right here, everybody. My goodness. Oh my. Okay. So, but anything else along the way, like major knee or feet issues, or just general the fatigue? You've been really lucky, eh?
Yeah, I've been lucky. I pulled a hamstring there because I came fourth last year in the Honolulu one. So I was doing speed work at Dave Facey.
Wait a minute. You just,
My age group.
still, what was it? 70 plus? What were you in?
70 plus, yeah.
Last
But
year?
still, like
75 plus, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, you're from Sherwood Park.
Yeah.
And as soon as Reed was talking to you and said, "Hey, this is the Pasta Pantry Athlete of the Week," are you a regular at the Pasta Pantry out there?
Yeah. We know Larry, the owner. He usually always goes away to Vietnam or what and plays golf. So we knew him, and there was just a little shop, and then he bought the shop next door and knocked the wall down. So he's got a big restaurant there now. But we knew him whenever he just opened the doors. We used to go down there all the time for the spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, we know him very well.
That's awesome. Okay. So can you stick around after 5 for a little longer? Because we want to ask you some of your highlights or most memorable, but I want to ask you, so you've run 136 marathons. Now you mentioned the first one you went into kind of like not knowing a lot. Yeah, it was a mess. So, but now that you've done so many, is it sort of like, okay, I know how this is going to feel. I know my pace. Like, is there a comfort to it, or is still everyone a little different than its own problem to figure out?
It's a little different. I tried it a few years back, and I'm thinking, well, I've done 90. I don't need to do the work anymore. I don't need to do any more long runs. Well, that was a mistake. I'll tell you, you get in there, and you're up there at 15 or 20K. Wow, what's happening here? Your breathing's off, and your feet sore and everything. You have to keep the mileage up. That's what I found. Even though because you've done over 100, doesn't mean you can just walk away and then show up next month and do another 42K. You have to keep the training up. So you do. That's what I find. It's easier. Keep the training up, and then it just comes natural, like another long run for the next weekend.
So how often do you run then?
Well, I do speed work on Tuesday morning at Bay Facey Track with a group, and then I run Wednesdays, Commonwealth Stadium. We do the stairs there with November Project, and then Friday we run Walderdale Hill with the November Project, and then do my long runs Saturday and Sunday out of the Kingsman River Road up to Lansdowne and Aspen Crescent and back down to the Kingsman.
How far is that about, do you think?
That's about 28K.
Okay. And you're doing some other speed work and stairs other days of the week.
Yeah, through the week.
Anybody feel lazy listening to the show right now?
Unreal.
Anybody feeling like they shouldn't have complained about the elevator not working and going up 2 flights of stairs? My goodness. Okay, Ken, you're amazing. We're not done with you. Can you stick around?
Sure.
Because we have some other questions for you. By the way, This is a great audience participation, too. If anybody has a question for
Yeah.
Ken, text in 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, or throw it in the nasty chat on YouTube, because we may have a listener, or because even when Jay, we were talking about Jay running the half on Sunday, people were like, oh, really? I've thought about doing it. So we had John Stanton on. He's an expert, and you're also an expert, because you guys know a lot about running and how to get it done. Our athlete of the week is Ken Davison. More with him after the 5 o'clock break.
Ken Davidson on the other side. I'm Ben Thompson. Stay gold, Pony Boy. You stay gold.
I hope you're having a great afternoon. Elks game tomorrow night. Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium, taking on the Toronto Argos, who have been giving up a lot of points lately. So hopefully the Elks can grab their second consecutive victory. We will have the Green and Gold kickoff show with Jay Milne and Matthew Wannick at 6, and then they're on after the game for the Green and Gold post-game show. Our Pasta Pantry Athlete of the Week is with me here, Ken Davison, in studio. Thanks a lot for coming in. He is going to run his 137th marathon in Edmonton on Sunday. He is 80 years of age. He has been running since 1980, so doing about 5 marathons a year. I got a great email from your son, Colin, who says you've done New York. You've been running a lot in Hawaii. How many times have you run in Hawaii? Quite a few.
12 times.
12 times. So we're gonna do here with you. We're gonna kind of put you on the spot. Okay, we're gonna do our afternoon debate for Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club. Fall in for flavor and fairways. Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club, open to the public with twilight golf specials that go easy on your wallet, and wings so good they should be on parade. Hit the course, crush some wings, soak in the sunset. Visit egmgolf.com to book your round today. So we're going to get your best, well, maybe in some cases worst memories and experiences. Mex has a question. Do you listen to music while you run?
No, I don't, actually. I tried it the first time, and I had a kind of a cheap one on my arm, and it stuck at Telstar. I was getting a sore head listening to it for all them miles, so I never did get a new one, so maybe I'll look into that for next Father's Day or something.
Okay.
So if you could, or if you had the updated one, or maybe your sons pitch in and get you something so you can listen to, what would you be listening to on your run, Ken?
The 60s music.
Yeah, what would be up there? What's your name a couple bands per se?
Them.
Them.
To be from Belfast.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of the 60s records, I love them. Like Petula Clark and Daniel O'Donnell.
Daniel O'Donnell. My dad listens to Daniel O'Donnell. That is awesome. Okay. You said it earlier. You ran your first marathon in a tennis shoe.
Yeah.
Over the years, there's been so many different brands and innovations in footwear. What are you wearing? What have you found to be the one that works best for Ken Davison?
Adidas or Nike. I like a Nike because the heel kind of slopes up at the back a little bit, and I pronate a little bit, so it wears the side of the heel out. But with Nike, the heel going up, you get a more mileage out of the shoe. It doesn't wear the heel out with me pronating a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So it works out good, and I find them very comfortable for doing the mileage.
How many shoes would you go through a year? If you're running 5 marathons a year, how many shoes you burning through?
Not really too many. There's probably maybe 2 or 3. Just I upgrade the inner sole. I fit new inner soles in it all the time, and that seems to help. I don't get no injuries or nothing like that, but it's usually about 3 a year, and then I donate them to the Ardrossan Rec Centre. They're looking always for used running shoes, and usually tie the tails together and take them out there and put them in the blue box in the Ardrossan Rec Centre. Yeah.
Okay, so other than Edmonton, what's the most exotic location in which you've run a marathon?
I'll have to say Honolulu.
Okay.
I like it. because of the weather and the atmosphere. They keep that finish line open in the Honolulu Marathon right to the last runner comes in. It's sponsored by Japanese Airlines. So the Japanese are in Honolulu for 4 days. Place is full of them, and they're all in the marathon. But some of them just call it a day out because whenever you're coming back, there's groups of them just walking up with McDonald's milkshakes. They're just out for a day walk, you know. But like we finished the Honolulu Marathon and back to the hotel, got washed, and then went out for supper and went back up to the finish line. It was 19 hours on the finish line, and they were still coming in. The older
jeez.
Japanese gentlemen, 19 hours later, yeah.
So, okay, so you mentioned McDonald's. What's your diet like in general? Do you eat pretty well? And then do you have a post-race guilty pleasure that you go to?
Well, we used to have a post-race pleasure. It used to be, used to wake up at 4 o'clock and then take a can of Campbell's Canadian French pea soup. But Campbell's dropped the line. So now we're back to oatmeal again and hot milk. So it's not really the same. I don't get it doesn't seem to last the whole marathon, so it carry the gels to carry me through that. But the Campbell's Canadian French sea soup, it was just great. I never got cramps or nothing.
Wow.
But before that, I used to feel it right, like on the mileage end, it was 19 miles or like around 30K. I felt really drained, but the soup really kicked in. But the oatmeal's, it's not bad, but I have to take like 5 gels every 5K
Yeah.
to get me through that, which works out okay.
I've never heard of that. The Campbell's, was it the French pea soup?
Yeah.
That you'd have it early in the morning before the
4
run.
o'clock, yeah.
And what about after a race? Do you have a beer, a glass of wine, ice
I
cream?
don't drink.
No?
No, never drank, never smoked. No. Just probably Gatorade or something like that. That lemon flavored, I like it. Got a kind of a little kick to it.
That's incredible.
I wanted to, your son, as Reed alluded to, sent in an email. Colin said that, you've done virtual marathons as well.
Yeah.
So you've done for instance, the Dublin Marathon or the Belfast Marathon, but you do them here,
Yeah.
but you sync your Garmin
Yeah.
so that they can then, record your race time and send you a T-shirt.
Yeah.
But he says, he says this is a quote from his email. Of course, my dad wanted to do them in real time, so he would be running in the dark as it would be 2 PM in London, England, when the actual run would be happening. He says he's a little crazy.
Yeah. I'll talk to him later. Well, I did the Dublin Marathon, and the rule wasn't that. Usually they give you 30 days to do the virtual when you sign up. Like I signed up there last week for Los Angeles, so I have to do that any day in October. They're not worried what day as long as I do it. So you send the money in, and you plug your Garmin into the computer, and they give you a code to come up for the Dublin Marathon, and then the code goes on your Garmin watch. And with the Dublin Marathon, they wanted you to run at the same time as we're running it in Dublin. So in Dublin, it was 12 o'clock lunchtime, 5 o'clock here. So I usually run at the River's Edge in Fort Saskatchewan, and that park doesn't open till 6 o'clock. I had to be there at 5. Says you get a ticket, you get a fine. So I went to the RCMP and told them I was doing that virtual marathon, and would it be okay to get into that park at 5 o'clock? So the constable said to me, if you're crazy enough to be up there at 5 o'clock, we are certainly not going to be giving you a ticket. We'll be lying on our bed thinking about you.
And was it snowing that day, you said?
Yeah, it was starting to snow, and I got a bit of a scare that day because I had my iPhone, and usually the iPhone, there's no noise from it, and it's really quiet out there, and I was running in the snow, and all of a sudden, my iPhone, the voice came on and says, congratulations, Ken, you're at 5K. Just look to your left and you'll see the main park in Dublin with all the flowers. And I thought it was a bike behind me shouting to get out of the road or something like that. I didn't realize it was. It was
It was,
coming from the
it was
iPhone.
synced to what people in
Yeah.
Dublin were seeing.
Yeah,
Oh,
same
my.
thing, yeah.
So you've ran so many races. I mean, there certainly must be a pet peeve of yours that you've come across or experienced from other runners during these marathons. I mean, you seem like a very soft-spoken, very nice man, but what grinds your gears?
I'm not really sure if it's anything running, because they're all, they all go over to the water station. You sometimes have to line up, but I don't really use the first 5 water stations because you lose a lot of time with that. I got a water belt, and the crowd that's at the first water station, like they're lining up there. I go on the left and go round them, and you pass like over 50 runners all standing there for water. So it's good to carry your own water, and it'll carry you through like, the first 15, 20K or so, and then whenever the marathon all spreads out, then you can definitely go over to the water station and grab a Gatorade or a juice or something like that, whatever you feel like, Yeah.
So, best training loop that you've come across in Edmonton or area?
I like the one from the Kingsman because you get the Groat Road Hill on it, and then there's a couple of hills there in Lansdowne, and then back through Foot Field there's a washroom there. Some mornings it's handy on a Sunday, and then you come back down Saskatchewan Drive, down Groat Road, and then along River Road, and then over the new bridge back into Kingsman Park. I like that route; it's nice. I like the hill in it too, So it gives you a good workout.
Okay, so do you have a best, or maybe you've already mentioned it, do you have a best marathon experience, most memorable or most victorious feeling?
No, well, Belfast, it was good one year. We were in the Belfast Marathon, and we were in it about 12 miles into it, and the lead vehicle took a wrong turn
Oh, no.
down the wrong street. And I knew, and the fellows beside me knew that was not the street, it was the next one. So we kept going, and we were actually leading the Belfast Marathon for about 9 minutes. And then all the unions and all in the truck came flying by with the lights on, and then everything got back to normal. So
Okay.
that was a nice experience. We were laughing about that. They're all the wrong way. We're leading the thing
Jeez.
here for a while,
Okay,
So it worked out good.
worst weather besides running in Fort Saskatchewan for the Dublin Virtual Marathon in the snow, like rain, like wind.
Yeah,
What's the worst weather?
From Murrathorpe to Whitecourt to Fallen Four. I had rain like crazy that Sunday, and we were out in the open highway. I think that was the worst one. There was wind and just rain the whole day, the whole way from Murrathorpe right to Whitecourt. That was a bad one, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the toughest race? I mean, condition-wise, I mean, you just said that one was raining and windy.
Yeah.
But is there one, even if it was on, similar conditions or the same conditions across the board, what would be one of the toughest marathons that you've ran?
I can't really pick one. They've all got their little hills and long hills in it, and you feel them after getting up there to 35, 38 kilometers, No, there's not really one that sticks out worse than the other. They've all got little sections in there, but the Edmonton one's nice and flat. You
Yeah.
get up around the old museum there and down around Ava Boulevard. It's nice down around there, so
Yeah.
I can't really pick one that really stands out as a problem one,
All right, Ken, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for coming in.
No
Thanks for
problem.
telling your story, sharing your experience with everybody. It's just fascinating, incredible accomplishment. You just keep going. I'll just end with this one. What would you say to somebody? Just what's the most valuable or special thing that you've gotten out of all these years of running and completing soon to be 137 marathons?
Just learning the correct way to run. Like, I hear these people coming up behind me, like stomping their crazy. You're going to be racking their hips and their knees. You got to learn to roll your feet land on your heel and then roll off your toe. And just try, just before you start running, try walking and rolling your feet like that and get your mind used to that. And then start out slowly, like maybe a couple of lampposts and get the roll in. And like I'm 90 or 80 now, and I hadn't had one knee problem, you know. And I think that's because of that, and I learned all that through the running room at the classes and everything that they put on, you know. It worked out really good for me, and people just try to fit that into your run, to roll your foot round, pumping down there like two hammers, you know.
Yeah.
It'll save your legs in the long run.
Ken, incredible. Thank you for coming in.
No problem, my pleasure.
Most guests don't do that, so thank you for coming in. Thank you for your time, and all the best. I hope Jay and I run into you on Sunday at the race.
Sure.
Right on.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
That's our Pasta Pantry Athlete of the Week, Ken Davison. Well, that was incredible. Ken Davison joined us, our Athlete of the Week for Pasta Pantry. He is 80. He's going to run his 137th marathon in Edmonton on Sunday. His son, Colin, has provided a limerick. Kenny from the Emerald Isle, like Forrest, often running a mile. Not famous like you two, always needs new shoes to complete marathons 26 miles. Pretty good. Pretty good. And Colin gave us some background on his dad as well that helped us guide the interview a little.
Well, and his son, Scott, I know as well. And incredible musician.
Oh, nice.
I mean, this guy can play anything. Like, he might as well be the Dave Matthews Band reincarnated.
Oh, cool.
He's that good. Just it's such a small world.
Yeah,
You know?
that was amazing. And Ken, he's so humble, and he just is so athletic. Like, he's never really had a serious injury. He told us about proper technique at the end, which I probably should have learned along the way. But he just gets up there and does it. Like, he just goes. It's remarkable.